Well, good morning, everyone. I wanted to make this video today for a subscriber. And this is a person that is struggling with their own personal views of themselves. And this is a subject that I'm very qualified to touch on because, as I mentioned in a previous video, I too have struggled with personal issues, and I'm going to elaborate on that. I have to get my glasses because I can't see anything without glasses, but this video is for Gray Wolf Bushcraft. Um, Many people like her struggle in society, in the world. And what people don't realize or maybe don't know is that a lot of thin people struggle just as much as somebody that's overweight. And I'm going to explain why that is. In society, in the world, and this has been going on forever, is that people will compare themselves to other people. And when you see what you think in your mind is perfection, you wish you were that person. If an overweight woman looks at a thinner woman, she, in her mind, in her own secretive way, most times wishes she could be that woman. And it's no different when a woman is very underweight. She'll look at a woman that is just normal weight. And I say normal because for your height, you're supposed to weigh a certain weight according to your height. There's parameters. Like for me, I'm underweight. I'm 6 foot tall and I weigh 154 pounds. Myself, I think I would look better if I was more near 185. So I'm not hugely underweight, but I'm underweight. And when you are not happy where you're at, it makes you longing to be somebody that you're not. And there's where the problem lies. Because what people fail to remember is that if you can't make changes to your personal appearance, and I'm not talking about plastic surgery and going to those extremes. That's not what this video is about. I'm talking about just in natural ways. Whether overweight people try dieting, exercise, someone that's underweight tries binge eating. Now, for me, I've seen doctors and specialists for being underweight. And the reason why I've done that in the past, I don't do it anymore. This is something that took place years ago. The reason why I did it is because I wasn't comfortable with myself, especially when I was working. Because when I was working, I was always around mostly guys because it was hard physical labor. So it was mostly men working, and I'd be working with those guys, and they were always big dudes. They were built, muscular, strong. They looked very healthy. And then there comes me, Ichabod Crane, and doop, 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 across the parking lot. And I'd always think to myself, I wish I could be more like they were. I just wanted to have just a normal body. Now, I wasn't looking for, like definition and tone muscles and all. I just wanted to weigh what I'm supposed to weigh for being 6 foot tall. Either that or be shorter, so 154 wouldn't seem so bad. And that's another thing all in itself. Like, short people want to be tall, tall people want to be short. I'm 6 foot. I hit my head a lot. That's the drawbacks of being tall. But if you can't change yourself in a natural way and nothing works, there's a reason for that. I wrote something down here last night, just jotted it down, but it is true. And I want you to think about this. Reasons are like seasons. It's meant to be. There is a purpose for everything. And that is true. Everything has a purpose. And I couldn't do anything about being underweight. And I struggled with it all my life. Oh my God, it was so bad going through school. It was horrible going through school. I was extremely thin as a kid, very thin. And it really affected me going through school. I remember when I was a kid, I would take like those Halloween. Remember the Incredible Hulk back in the 70s? The kids would buy those inflatable muscles. I would like put those in my pants to just fill out my pants more and like inflate them so it looked like I had thicker legs than I actually had. When reality it was just this inflatable device, and then it was like Q-tips going down through the center, but nobody knew it. And it really affected me as a kid because I was just a thin, tall, lanky kid. And my clothes never fit right. Everything looked like it just hung on me. You know, like if I took a shirt on a hanger, took it off the hanger, and then wore it, it still looked like it was hanging on the hanger. I couldn't fill out clothing. I still can't. Still can't. But does it bother me like it did when I was a kid? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. It took years and years to get over that, to where eventually I told myself, no more. This body will not change. So getting back to what I mentioned, where I went to see doctors in years gone by, they tried everything. They even gave me a prescription for Geverbon. It did not work. That stuff was like drinking castor oil. It was god awful, and nothing worked. They tried everything that would promote weight gain, and nothing worked. I could eat a semi load of ice cream, another semi load of potato chips, and then go hit fast food for a year and just eat McDonald's or Burger King. I wouldn't gain anything. I can drink milkshakes until the cows come home. I don't gain anything. It's like I hit 154 and that's as good as it gets. But I weigh more than I did because it wasn't too long ago that I weighed 129 and I could not get past 129. Age is what did it to me. I had to wait until something in my body changed that I could not control to go from 129 to 154. So if my ideal weight would be like 185, that would probably happen if I lived to be 70. I'd have to wait till then. And by then it doesn't matter because then you're too old to look good at that weight anyway. It would just be more stuff hanging. So I had a choice. And this is like a lot of people. When something doesn't change, when you try to change it and it doesn't change, and you say to yourself, there's nothing I can do about this, you have a choice. And this is very important. You have a choice. You could either continue feeling and thinking the way you do about yourself, or you could tell that little devil in your head, get lost. Get lost. Don't bother me anymore. And learn to be comfortable in your own skin. Because I'm here to tell you guys, spending your entire lifetime being concerned about your body that you cannot change, no matter what you've done, you haven't been able to change your weight. You have to learn to be comfortable in your body because the body is temporary. It makes no sense to go through, and this was like an epiphany for me. This is what really turned my world around, is because I told myself one day, I'm my own worst enemy. That voice in my head is not my friend. It's putting me down. You don't want a voice in your head that puts you down. That voice in your head should be your friend. It should be your cheerleader. And life is so short that one day we leave our bodies behind. So we spend our whole lives being unhappy with ourselves, trying to change ourselves when it's only temporary. It's no different with an automobile. I stressed over a truck that I had, a particular truck that I had. It was a piece of junk. And no matter what I did, honest to God, no matter what I did to that Chevy pickup truck, it never got better. I threw everything at it and thousands of dollars at it, and it never got better to the point where I had it and I got rid of it. Now I got something very dependable that I love very much, and it doesn't plague me with problems. But you see, our bodies are just as temporary as those problems. It's no different. It's temporary. Our bodies do not define who we are. Who we are is the type of person we are. Are you a loving person, a caring person, a compassionate person, a person that is a good listener, a person that is a good friend to somebody, just an overall good person? Find your qualities within yourself and build upon that and tell yourself, my body doesn't define me. I'm much more than just skin and bone and flesh and blood and cells. I am much more than that. You know, for years, when I would mow my lawn, even here, when I first moved here, because it's so open around my house that my neighbors can really see quite a distance from their homes. And I always felt exposed. This is the truth. I'm telling you guys the truth. This is what really happened. I felt exposed. And because I was so self-conscious about myself and my appearance, that when I would mow my lawn, and I mow a huge lawn with a push mower, walking and pushing that push mower, I felt self-conscious. And that voice in my head would say, what do the neighbors think about you? I bet they think you're really skinny. They're probably making fun of you. They're probably mocking you. They're probably laughing at you. This is the type of thoughts that would go through my head like a loop over and over again, until one day when I had that epiphany and I realized this body's temporary. It's not going to last forever. There's not a damn thing I can do about its appearance. So I told that voice, get out of my head. You're not my friend. I want something that is going to be a cheerleader for me, that's going to be on my side, because you're not on my side. And I'll tell you what, when you turn that voice in your head that we all have, that gives you those negative thoughts in your head, kick it to the curb. You want a voice that's going to be a cheerleader for you. You want a voice that's on your side, that is rooting for you, that knows your qualities. And you do that by changing your thinking. Then every time that thought, that other personality tries to come in and say, oh yeah, but you're still skinny, you still, you're weaker than most, and then you kick it out, and it's like, no, you're good at this and you're good at that, and you're a good person. And you turn it around and you start training your mind to think differently, instead of that negative one that was always trying to make me think about what other people think and other people's views of me. I got rid of those thoughts. And now I've got a cheerleader in my head that says, Kev, you're a good guy. You're a nice guy. You're a caring guy, a compassionate guy, a loving guy, a guy that will help people, will help anyone, do good things for people. And it says, so what that you're thin? So what? So what? You get stuff done. And then that negative voice becomes more like a cheerleader. And then this is what that cheerleader becomes like in your head.
Look at me, I'm skinny. It never stopped me from getting busy. I'm a freak. I like the girls with the boom. I once got busy in a bathroom. I'm crazy. Allow me to amaze thee.
So right there is a perfect example of turning things around, because you could either go through the rest of your life letting those thoughts degrade yourself, put you down, make you feel terrible about yourself, make you feel negative about yourself, because eventually that all bleeds out and it reflects, and other people start to see it in you. So you're portraying those views that other people are bringing back upon you. And when you turn it around, it's life changing. Because when you turn it around, now what's coming out of you and you're reflecting of yourself onto others and they see it and pick up on it. Now it's positive instead of negative. They see that you're a bubbly person. They see that you're a friendly person. They see that you're a kind and nice person and a loving person. They start seeing those qualities that you lift up and you build and you work upon. Because if you can't do it physically, then do it mentally. There's where the rescue is. That's where the salvation is in saving yourself, is because if you can't change your body, just like this hand disease, I can't make it go away. So I live with it. And I say, so what? What's in my hands doesn't define who I am. I'm still stronger than that. I'm better than that. This body's just a temporary vessel, a temporary vehicle that one day will go to the junkyard, the cemetery, and I fly on like a birdie. And maybe one day I'll have a new body, a perfect body. Maybe I'll have the body I've always longed for. You have to learn to get those thoughts out of your head and find that in yourself, which is great, which deserves to be nourished and fed. Okay. Don't feed the bad crap those thoughts and allow it to occupy your mind and take up space and always be there like a loop running through your head all the time, because that gets exhausting. That wears you down. That puts you in a bad place. You got to tell yourself, these are my qualities. Write them down. Read it to yourself. Reprogram yourself and tell yourself, my body may be imperfect, but so what? That does not define me. This is what makes my qualities great right here. This is them right here. And then read them off and keep telling yourself this all the time, and always be subconscious of it and remind yourself, because every time that negative thought comes in, it says, oh, you're fat, or you're skinny, or you're too short, or you're too ugly. Say, no, I'm not. I am not those things. I am not those things. I'm better than that. I have so many more qualities about myself than what my body portrays. And you have to always be aware of this, because the more you work on this, and let me tell you firsthand, this is far easier than trying to fix your physical appearance. It is. Working with the mind is much easier than working with the physical. The physical is extremely hard to change. Sometimes it feels impossible, and sometimes it is physically impossible. But with the mind, there's potential. Start there, work on that, because ultimately that is the problem. It's not the body. It's not the spirit. It's not you. It's the mind. The mind is a very powerful thing. And it can make people do crazy stuff. It can make people think crazy stuff. It can destroy you from within. The mind is the most powerful thing in your physical body. Work on it. It's an organ. It's a tool. Work on it. Because when you fix the mind, you fix everything. You fix everything. It's the most important thing. And a lot of people don't know this or don't understand it. Because I want you to think about it. If somebody suffered a massive accident and they ended up on life support, and then that person ended up almost like brain dead, and they didn't know anything anymore, nothing can bother that person anymore, because now their brain isn't functioning right, because that was ultimately the problem. That's where all the problems were coming from, was the mind. Now, do you think that person worries that they're overweight or thinks subconsciously about themselves? No, because the brain isn't functioning and it's not putting those thoughts in their head anymore, because it was the brain that was causing the problem. You see, it's all just a mental mind game. All our minds play with us. We've all been there. We all know what it's like. And if you say you don't, you're probably lying, because we've all been through the things in school that made us insecure, made us, think certain things. It's the mind that does it. So instead of trying so hard to change yourself physically, if you change yourself mentally, and there's books and there's videos out there and there's tons of people that can help you with this, believe you me, it will free you. It will free you. It will set you free. And prayer helps a lot too. Take it to God and tell him what you're unhappy with, because he can fix it. There's lots of help out there, lots of help. All you have to do is seek it out. Because I'm still the skinny guy. I'm still, and I don't even like the word skinny. And a lot of people don't know that when you call somebody skinny, it's just as equal as an insult. It's equal as calling somebody fat. If you tell somebody, God, you're really fat, that's just as much as an insult as if you looked at someone that's thin and said, God, you are really skinny. We don't like to be told that any more than an overweight person wants to be told they're fat. And people don't even know this. They don't know this. They think it's fine to tell someone who is thin that they're skinny because they think it's a compliment. No, it's not. Not unless you really love being skinny, and not many skinny people love being skinny. Because they're, again, like someone that's overweight, they're lacking somewhere and they're not quite at that level they want to be at. No one's ever at the level they want to be at. We're either too much or too little, or too tall, too short. Nobody's happy, it seems, with who they are. I'm sure there's lots of people out there that are happy in their skin, but for the most part, most people aren't. Like, I can't remember the guy that was interviewed. He was big, like Andre the Giant. He was huge, well over 7 feet. And when he was interviewed, they asked him, they said, if you could change anything about yourself, what would you change? And he said with a big, deep voice, he's like, I'd want to be little. I'd want to be shorter, because he was so big. And then if you ask a little person, someone that's only 3.5 feet tall, what would you change? They'd say, I want to be taller. I want to be just normal. Well, what's normal? Like 5 feet, 6 feet? Nobody's happy where they're at. But you must remember, God made you exactly as he wanted you to be. So if you're not happy with it, he gave you the gift of life. He gave you your body. He gave you everything that makes you what you are. And that would be like someone at Christmas time giving you a really great gift, like a brand new car. And you say, well, I don't like the color of it. I'd rather have a 2-door than a 4-door. How do you think that person would feel when they gave you this ultimate gift and you weren't satisfied with it? God made you exactly the way he wanted you to be, and there's a reason for it. There's a reason for it. Like, he made me skinny. There's a reason why he made me skinny. And I sometimes think it wasn't because it saved my life, because when I had a car accident where I almost got killed, I would have never got out of the car if I was 400 pounds. I squeezed through an opening that was only this big. And it gave me like road rash on my rib cage because I had to squeeze through an opening this big. The car was mangled. Maybe that's why. That's what I'm saying. There's reasons for everything. If you're overweight, there's a reason for it. Just know that there is a reason for it. There is a reason for everything. There's a reason why the sky is blue. There's a reason why grass is green. Why that color? There's a reason for it. There's a reason for everything in this world, and we are not exempt from that. So if there's something we don't like about ourselves, tell yourself there's a reason for it. There's a reason for it. We may not know those reasons, but just know there is an important reason that we will know later on. We will get the answer as to why, and then we'll be like, oh, okay, I understand now. That makes perfect sense. I understand it now. And here I beat up myself my entire life over this, and it's this simple. And now I get it. I understand. I know there was a woman that was interviewed that had a near-death experience, and she was unhappy with herself. And then when she saw her own body, laying in the bed when she came out of herself and separated from her body. She looked at that body and she felt sorry for it. And she says, my God, I realized at that moment, she says, I realized at that moment that that body that I wasn't happy with did its job and got me through my whole life. And she says, I felt like I wanted to thank it, to say thank you for getting me through my life. All that it'd been through, the ups and the downs and the injuries and the pain, it got her through her whole life. It was a dependable, reliable vehicle that got her through her entire life experience on this planet. And now she was leaving it behind like an old pair of jeans. And she was like, thank you for providing me with the ability to get through life. And that's what it's like, you guys. We are all made the way we're made, our color, our looks, our body style. We are all the way that we are for a reason. And we may not understand the reason or may not like the reason, but it is what it is. So therefore, there's two ways you can go through life. You could either beat yourself up day after day after day, year after year, for the rest of your life. Just keep beating yourself up forever and always be unhappy, always be miserable. Let that little voice in your head be your enemy instead of your cheerleader. Or you can forget being that way and make yourself number one and say, you know what? I'm a damn good person. There's nothing wrong with me. And I'm going to go forward from this day on, and I'm going to acknowledge who I am. I'm going to celebrate who I am, and I'm going to enjoy who I am. I am going to enjoy who I am. I don't care that I'm thin. I don't care that I'm skinny. It affected me greatly when I dated. I was self-conscious about it. Now I walk through, a small group of beautiful women or something like on my way through into the store. I'll just walk right through them. It's not like, oh, I walk around them because I don't know what they're going to think of me. It's not, no, let's get the hell out of my way. I got to get in the store. I don't care what people think anymore. I just don't care what guys and women. It's like if some guy says, "Oh, look at that guy. He looks like a wimp." No, screw you. I don't care. Because I got that cheerleader in my head that says, look at me, I'm skinny. It don't keep me from getting busy. And it don't. I get stuff done. And I've got a lot of other qualities that even when it comes to women that may view me and say, well, he don't look like he could protect me. And does he even know how to fight? I don't know. I need more meat on a guy. And as I put my arms around him, is he going to break? If I rub his chest, is it going to sound like a xylophone? I don't care about that. It's like, yeah, but you're missing out on a whole bunch of other stuff that you don't even have a clue. You don't even have a clue on what you're missing out on. Just because you're judging me on my appearance, you're throwing all the rest out, throwing the baby out with the bathwater. That's why I don't care anymore. It's like, hey, if you don't want to get to know me or be around me because of my appearance, then screw you. I don't want to know you. I don't want to know you. There's other people out there that accept me just the way I am, just like the girls did that I dated back in the 80s. There was girls out there that didn't like skinny guys, and yet there was girls out there that did. And the girls that did, they were on my arm. So screw it. There's over 9 billion people on this planet. Who gives a shit what the person next door thinks? Start changing the way you think. Kick that negative voice to the curb that says you're fat, you're no good, you're ugly, you're short, you're skinny. Kick its ass to the curb and get the cheerleader instead that is rooting for you and saying, rock on, man, rock on. And face every day that way. And no longer degrade yourself, think negative about yourself, or put yourself down. Tell yourself, I am great. I am great. I'm unique. I'm a miracle. God made me just the way he wanted me to be. And we're all beautiful in his eyes because we are a creation of his. And go forward and live your life and be happy. turn that negative thought, that negative voice into a cheerleader and live your life in happiness instead of misery. Thanks for watching, you guys, and we'll see you again in another one. Bye-bye.